Today we're going on a journey to a crossroads between life and death. We're going to dive into the world of the Gado, the spirits of the dead in Haitian Vodou, and unpack what these incredibly profound and often misunderstood figures can teach us about how to live.
You know, this quote just sets the stage perfectly. It asks us to completely rethink what a cemetery is. Forget a quiet, final resting place. Imagine it instead as this bustling hub of power and connection. That's exactly where our story begins.
So, to really get the Gede, you have to understand the world they came from. Our little parable here really starts with the incredible, powerful story of Vodou itself.
What is so absolutely crucial to understand is that Vodou is so much more than just a religion. It's a testament to human ingenuity. I mean, think about it. Under the most brutal, oppressive conditions you can imagine, enslaved Africans created a spiritual system that became their tool for survival, for holding onto their identity, for preserving their culture. It was, truly, resistance in its most powerful form.
So how did they pull it off? Well, they started with the bedrock of their own ancestral rights from Africa. But then, in this brilliant act of spiritual blending, what we call syncretism, they started weaving in elements from their oppressors, like Catholic saints. This was a way to mask and protect their own sacred traditions. And out of that mix, something entirely new, incredibly powerful, and unbelievably resilient was born. Right at the heart of Vodou, you have the Loa. Now, these aren't distant, abstract gods. These are dynamic, active, spiritual beings. Think of them as personalities. They interact directly with people by mounting or possessing their followers to give direct guidance, to heal, to share wisdom. It's this incredibly personal, immediate kind of relationship.
Okay, so within this huge family of Loa, there's one group that holds a really unique and powerful place. We've officially arrived at the crossroads, and it's about time we meet the gatekeeper, the Lord of the Cemetery himself.
I bet you've seen this guy before. The top hat, the dark sunglasses, the tuxedo, that grinning skeletal face. Yep, this is Baron Samedi, the main man of the Gede. He's this unforgettable figure, but believe me, there is so much more to him than what you've seen in pop culture.
Because this is his real job. Baron Samedi is the ultimate equalizer. He's basically a walking, talking reminder of death, a memento mori. And the lesson he teaches is profound. In the end, it makes no difference if you were a king or a street sweeper. Before him, we are all the same. Your status, your money, it all disappears at the edge of the grave.
And let's be clear, his authority is absolute. As the master of the cemetery, he controls that porous border between life and death. He's the one who decides whose time is up, but, and this is key, he can also be the one who spares you, who sends you back to the world of the living. He is the ultimate decider of fate.
But here's the kicker. Here's the big twist. For a guy who's the Lord of Death, the Baron has this incredibly rebellious, life-loving spirit. He's known for his filthy sense of humor, his love for strong rum and tobacco, his totally outrageous behavior. He embodies this idea that, yeah, death is coming for every one of us, but we don't have to shrink away in fear. We can meet it with a laugh and a whole lot of defiance.
And the Baron doesn't work alone. He's the head of an entire family of spirits, the Gede. Each one represents a slightly different angle on death, on life, and on that wild connection between the two. And you can really see that diversity right here. On one hand, you've got Baron Lacroix. He's the stoic, quiet type, the keeper of history and memory. For him, you might offer a bitter black coffee. And then you have Baron Criminel. He is a fierce, raw judge who brings justice for people who were wronged in life. And his offering? Much more intense, a fiery, pepper-infused rum.
And see, that's what makes this faith so incredibly personal. It means that whether you're in mourning, or you're fighting for justice, or you're just quietly thinking about the past, there's a spirit, a frequency in the Gede family that matches what you're going through. There's a spirit for every soul.
These beliefs are then brought to life through what you could call a kind of spiritual technology. The rituals, the offerings, the powerful, hypnotic rhythms of the drums. These aren't just symbolic gestures. No, they are actual tools designed to open a doorway, to bridge that gap between our physical world and the world of the spirits.
All right, this brings us to the final and maybe the deepest part of our whole story. What is the ultimate lesson that the Lord of the Dead has to teach us about living? What's the real secret behind the Baron's last laugh?
I mean, this is the central puzzle, right? It just seems like a total contradiction.
How can the spirit who literally rules over the grave also be one of the most vibrant, life-affirming figures in any religion on earth?
Well, the answer is all in their duality. On one hand, the Gede have this incredibly serious job as healers and guardians of the dead. But on the other, they're famous for their wild, outrageous behavior. They mock social rules, they tell the dirtiest jokes, and they openly celebrate sexuality and fertility. And that right there, that brings us to the core of their philosophy. The Gede teach us that life is never felt more intensely, more vibrantly, than when we are fully aware of our own mortality. It's by standing right at that crossroads of death that we're reminded just how precious that little spark of life really is.
So here's the main takeaway. This is, at its heart, a philosophy of resilience. The laughter and the joy of the Gede aren't just for fun, they are essential weapons against hardship. By embracing life's contradictions, by being both a serious worker and a wild partier, you build the strength to endure anything.
And when you boil it all down, the whole tradition stands on these three massive pillars. Memory, which is about honoring the ancestors and keeping the past alive. Justice, making sure wrongs are righted even after death. And celebration, that joyful recognition of the sacred life force that flows through every single thing.
Which brings us right back to the Baron himself. He represents a fundamental truth about being human. The fact that we're all going to die can be terrifying, of course, but accepting it, truly accepting it, can be unbelievably liberating. And the Baron, well, he delivers this profound lesson in his own unique style, with a wicked laugh, a glass of rum, and a good cigar.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In a world that so often tries to run and hide from the idea of death, what if we're missing the whole point? What if the real key to living a fuller, braver, more resilient life comes from listening to the wisdom of the one who's waiting for all of us at that final crossroads?